Hey guys, it's day 39, I believe, of our little adventure in making what we hope to be a pretty good game. Today we have earned ourselves the right to do a little bit of fun stuff after all our hard work on the menu and getting that all sorted out, the save slots, the continues, the load games, etc. And we kind of started it last night. Now, I knew we were getting new assets, so let's take a look at them first, shall we? We have a new bow, which is this. UK. Nice bow, we like it. One of the first we're going to use. And we have a couple of new infected monsters, which we can do something with later maybe, but we'll have a look at them for now. We have got animations actually. What we got here? These are just third person stuff. Not exactly thrilling. This is some of the stuff we're going to move on to in a second. This is one of the monsters. And we have a second. And we are probably going to re-target some of our zombie animations onto this character. Okay. So that's some of the stuff we get to play with today. And last night we added a kill cam. So I think we'll start with this. Not kill cam, actually it's narrow cam. Okay. Hey Screen Apple, how you doing, bud? You get to see some fun stuff today. Okay, now I don't know if you were in last night on the second part, but you're about to see what I did as a little treat for myself. So we can have a look. Now the question is, can we hit them? We missed. Right, but you see that we've actually now got a arrow cam. Right, which is actually working pretty well. Surprisingly. UK. Anyway, enough with that for now. We need to fix it up, right, so that it actually works properly. It is actually working, but we need to fix it up better. And probably the best way to do that is to get our dough and do it with that. Now, what we have done is we added to the mutant dude a bit of code. Okay, so what I'm going to do is copy this, and this is the code here. Okay, I'm going to copy that onto our skeletal mesh for the dough. Okay, so let's have a look. We're looking at wildlife. First thing I want is this, I want this camera. I want the kill cam to work better. Or sorry, not the kill cam, but the camera cam. Okay, so in here we're going to get BP. We could actually do both of these at some point, right? But we're going to get the mesh. Now I'm hoping that this is the right thing, which I think it is. And we're going to do that. Right, now we will need to do a little change, and that's going to be to our capsule component. Right, and we're not going to block all dynamic. We're going to overlap all dynamic. Ah, okay. Hit has got to go in there. Okay, so basically what I'm doing here is, if an arrow hits you, right, you get that arrow, you stop the rotation, and then you attach it. Okay? And what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to do it for the stag as well, since we're in here with the stag, right? Actually, what did we have that set as in the mesh? In the mesh, I think that's going to be, yeah, that stays the same. We'll undo that. Right, and the capsule component is going to be overlap all dynamic. We may need to muck about with these, okay, but then we go into our character mesh and component hit. Then we paste again. This other actor. Hit. Save. Okay. Now, when where did our things go? I'm thinking they fell to the ground. Okay. So, we're going to look at this. We're going to look at our humanoid dude. Right, the capsule component is set to pawn. And the mesh is block all dynamic. Okay. So, mesh, block all dynamic, capsule, pawn. Save that. Then if we run that, our dough should be okay. There's our dough. Now why he's not running away I don't know, but you can see that we've hit it. So we'll do the stag now. Character mesh. Block all dynamic. Capsule. Pawn. Okay. Save that. We've now got our stag. And there he goes. And we shot him. And at this point, right, what I'm going to do, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is, I want to look at the blend space. Okay. Because we need to find out at which point we want to show the arrow. We only want to show the arrow when they're walking. Okay, so when their speed is greater than 0, basically. Okay. So it's basically this blend space here. UK. Right. So basically here, if our speed is basically 100 or greater, right? Then we show the arrow. In fact, I'll tell you what, if the speed is greater than we notch the arrow, right? So how are we going to do this? This is a good question. Right, so if we're walking with the bow, right, we'll just try a couple of things here. We'll add a state. Okay, and that state actually, you know what, this is going to be like a blend. Okay, save that for now, right? This is like something else, because what we're doing at the moment is we created a bow, and it's the bow that's playing the animation, right? So, and it's in the interactive items, right? So it's under BP new bow. Now, this is it here. Okay. And if we look at this, you can see it's anim. It's this anim here. Okay. So in effect, right, we actually don't need to do this. We need to do something else. Right? Unless... Nah, this is not a good idea. Right, I'm going to go a different route. Because the animation is actually applied to the bow and not her. Right? It's more like we need... It's more like we need a child of this animation blueprint with a bow in it. Okay, or we need a bow animation blueprint. Alright. So anyway, we're not going to do it that way, but we're going to have to figure out another way. Right, now we did have that new bow. Okay. Now our problem now is that if we play this as a montage, right? Well, let's try it. Let's try it indeed. So we're going to save this. Okay. And we are going to go to our Viking blueprint event graph. Right. In here. Now. We're setting our speed here, okay? So we're going to delete that. So we're going to say if, oh god, I was about to write some C++ or Visual Basic or something there. We're going to say player mode. We're going to say equals, right? And we're going to say hunting. So basically we're only going to do this check if we're hunting. Okay, we're going to say branch and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our pawn and we're going to tell it to do something so that we've at least got some kind of a is greater than 0. May as well do an and on this. So we can do an and. We can plug that in there. Plug that in there. Okay, I suppose that's fine. Right. And then we're going to open up our pawn. Now, go to pawn, pawn. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, right, is I'm going to add a variable and I'm going to call it bow, and it's going to be BP new bow. Okay. And when we come in here, we're going to, that's not what we wanted to set it. Okay, so we set our bow. We are going to set it here as well. Okay, and we're going to set it to nothing there. So we can basically get rid of that, get rid of that. Right, we can do something with this notched arrow later, but at the moment we're not doing anything with it, so we'll move it over here. Okay. And now we've got our bow. This part can all go because I fixed this in the actual in the mesh itself. When I brought in the new bow, I did a better job of sorting out the position and stuff. I'm still going to maybe have to do some stuff on it, but it is better, and it means we don't need to do any rotations within our blueprint here. So with that in mind, I'm going to get rid of these. Or at least I'm going to get rid of that. Oh, didn't want to do that. Right, what we want to do is get rid of that, and rid of that. Okay, and that makes life a heck of a lot easier. Right, and tidies it up a bit. So now that we've got a reference to our bow, we can actually do something with it. Okay. And just for a laugh, so I'll do custom event. Right, this is my first pass at this, guys, so this might, it'll probably work, but it's probably not going to be designed very well, and I'll probably revisit that fact, but we'll see. So what we're going to do is we're going to say bow animation place arrow. Okay, and we're going to get our bow. Now we could actually select this and set it to not loop and see how that goes. Okay. But we do want to do once. Okay. The interesting thing here is we don't want it to play anything there, right? So maybe, right, I'm going to do our custom event. Now we might end up putting this in the actual bow, which would make more sense. So I'm going to say bow animation drop. I'm going to say no arrow. Okay. So this is going to go sequence. And it's going to reset that one. Apparently it's not letting me duplicate these, so we'll just do the old copy paste. Now what I really want to happen, and this might work, it might not, play animation nothing, right? Okay. So we now go back into our blueprint here. And we say play. Well, it's not called that apparently. What did I call those? Bow animation. Okay. So that's bow animation, place arrow. Bow animation, no arrow. Right. So hang on a second. The do once should go in here. Right. That should reset it. And in actual fact, this should also be on a do once. Right, now the question is, we don't actually need a sequence there. All we need is these to basically reset each other. Okay, so they only reset each other when each one has been reset. Right, so that should go there, and that should go there. Okay. Hopefully that'll make sense to you guys. Now, I don't know what's going to happen here. Soon find out. Right. Now you'll notice that's went... Nah, it's not went away. Okay, but that's okay. Right, I'm happy with that. For a good reason. Right, now... what we can do here is go back into our pawn. We don't need to do this now because it's getting done in the animation blueprint. Right, but we've got our skeletal mesh, so let's rename these to something a bit more meaningful. Right, so we've got a bow mesh, arrow mesh, and arrow head mesh. Okay. So all we want to do in this case is get arrow mesh and set it to hidden in game. Okay, and new hidden is true. And then all we need to do down here is false. We propagate to children, and that should hide the arrowhead. Okay. So let's try that. Now you can see their arrow is still showing. I've got it the wrong way round. Okay. Now the thing about our bow is we should not play the animation. Okay. Now we could play it, right? And then just basically set this to 0. But that might still not be good. We'll try that first, right? And we'll set the initial position to 0. But if it does play, yeah, it has played, see? Right, we're going to dismiss that, dismiss that, dismiss that. So, where were we? For some reason that just went away. Okay, so we're going to do that. And what we're going to do is our arrow mesh we're going to initialize it as hidden, and our arrowhead the same. Okay, so now you'll notice no arrow. Now we've got an arrow, etc. Now, no arrow. We've got an arrow, etc. Okay. Now, I don't think her arm is going to go back far enough. So, what I'm going to do is, we'll fix that in a minute. We're going to go to that actual animation, right? We'll browse to it. And I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to rename it. Right, so we're going to rename it to V2. Okay. And probably about here. Is good. Right? We can probably do something with her arm and bring it back just a bit, right? The point is this, right? If we look at it, right? And we're going forward, right? We've pulled back way too far, okay? Now, we can either animate our arm to go even further back, right? But it looks like it isn't going to look very good, right? So we've got two things we can do here. Either A, we move the string, or we change the animation, okay? So what I'm talking about here is that we cut off the end, right? So that it fits. What she's doing. Or we still make it go a little bit too far, but we update her animation, right, to move her arm back a bit. Okay. Now, so we'll do this. Why is this not allowing me to do this? Right, we are on version 2. Right, what is re0? We don't want to do that, I don't think. Is this because of all this stuff? Remove frame. Right, I don't know enough about animation to do this. Right, I don't think it's anything to do with rotation. It must be to do with translation. Right. Yeah. And we've got the curve, and we've got this and this. Okay, whereas at the start right, so that's okay. What we'd have to do is edit the curve here. Okay, no idea about this one, guys. I don't know how. I'm scared to do this. Right. 0.022. Time 0.3 point. So this would be point. If we move this down to like 0.18, right, I don't know what this is going to do. I might be absolutely screwing this. Okay. If I move this down further, what does this actually do? Apparently nothing. I'm sure it does something. I just don't know what it is. But it's obviously the wrong curve, right? I'm going to say it has to be this. Right, I'm going to have to go, it's this. And I'm going to say this is minus 1.9, right? Right, so you can see that our arrow is going way further back. Or sorry, our arrow is not going way further back. Oh yeah, it is. Right, why is it? I'm beginning to think, should this back be actually more? Minus 2.5. And what's the arrow got to do with any of this? Right, we're not going to delete that socket, but how do we remove this? I don't want to see this in the preview because it's just confusing. Right, we'll change it back to minus 1.9, which I don't think it was. I think it was minus 1.8. So it's not that either. Right, so it's like an arrow in socket position, string curve. Now it looks to me like both of these are not doing anything anyway, right? You can see that that's not moving, so it's always set as 0. And this one's the same, so there's no point in doing anything with that. Right, so the question is, what's moving the string? What's making our string move? Now, you wouldn't think it's on the Z, right? It can't be on the Z. If I do top, right, that's probably not a great view. And that's pretty much the same view as we always get. Now, dance, it must be this, but right, so it's definitely not the scale. Now, I don't quite understand why this would change. Right. Maybe I was getting that right, and it's just I didn't apply it properly. Right, so we're definitely going on the X, right? Now, the question is it actually this one I need to change? And that doesn't appear the case. Okay, it's this that's drawing it back. Right, we can see as that goes down, it's going minus. Right? And the more minus it's going. So in theory, if I go minus 1.5, that's not right. Right, it says click apply. Where's the bloody, there it is. Did that do anything? Or am I just hallucinating? I don't know. Okay, well anyway. So, I suppose what we can do here is we can try it out. We can just go to our new bowl, right? And then go to our bowl mesh. In fact, we don't do that at all. We go to our pawn. And we go to that one. Save it. Right. And see if that's made any difference. I've got absolutely zero idea if this is going to have made a difference or not. And quite frankly, no. Now, I want to see what this is. Oh, you can't play an empty. And we'll just do that to there, just to make sure it works. Okay. Right. Our only other method around this is to, well, as I said, there's two methods around this: to change that animation, which I don't know how to do, or change the animation on our pawn. Right, now I do have a slight inkling of how to do that, although I will probably break it, so we're going to delete that first. Okay, before I go and break this thing. Now the alternative to this is to change them both. Right, so if we go into our pawn, what we could do is we can get this one, right, duplicate it, we'll call it V2, Okay. So if we pause this, right? I'm going to undo that. This is more like we're going to have to rotate this. And then probably have to rotate this back in again. Now, is that, my question here is that going to stay the same? Or is that going to, oh yeah, it kind of did. Right, okay, so we'll call that a victory. And then what we'll do is, this is the one that's the walk forward. V2. Okay, whatever. Right, I might have completely broken this. As I said, I never usually do much with the artwork or the animations or stuff. I don't do a lot with it, so... Now, I can only think, right, that... I'm going to dismiss that and that. Right. I'm going to stop that. Right, so we know what we want here. We want her arm like that. And at the end, that's what we want. Ah, wait a minute. Wait a minute, I don't know what I'm doing. right? Key. Apply. Save. Let's try this now. Don't know what's going on there, like. It was in our pawn, wasn't it? How did I end up closing down the pawn? I guess it's because I'm doing this. And that's the blueprint, I suppose. Right. We were doing this, so we'll leave that as it was. Right. And we'll get bow. And that's the bow mesh, so that's silly. Right, so let's have a look at this. And we've got one more little mistake here, and that's because that got cleared out. Anyway guys, I'm going to take a quick break, right? If you're enjoying the content, hit like and subscribe. We'll come back and sort this out a bit. Then we'll get the kill cam better, I think. So, if you're enjoying it, hit like, subscribe. Check out the description for links to the game's Discord and my personal Discord, Patreon to help support the channel and the game, and finally my previous game on Steam, which is on sale at the moment for $1. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere, folks. Hey guys, we are back and we've put that back, right? Now, in theory, oh, it's so close and yet so far. I think we'd get away with this, right, if I pulled it back just a little bit. Right, but we're going to have to change all of them, right? But I might get my colleague to do that. Because I'm like that. Right, and I don't know if we can get this any further back. I mean, literally, we're practically having to do that. Right, I'm going to have to change this to like 5 degrees here because it's so close and I don't know. Right, we're going to key it, apply, save it. Right, we've learned something new today, guys. Right, if you change an animation, it's key, apply, save. Okay? Now, to be fair, hey Stormrun Gaming, how are you? Have you been sitting watching 4-hour tutorials again? Right, as I was saying, I did kind of cheat with the key, apply, save because I did watch a video earlier of how you actually change an animation because I knew that our animations weren't going to fit. Have I ever messed around with double jump? Funnily enough, only in Unity, not in Unreal Engine, and it was about 5 years ago. Why? What do you want double jump for? Or what is your problem with double jump? If I... Oh, it's agonizingly close. It is so agonizingly close. Right, key, apply, save. Yeah, I've kind of heard that one before actually. I think... Yeah, what you want to make sure you do is, if they're holding the button down, you don't react to the holding the button down, right? You only react to it released. Right, so on your double jump, basically you want it done on released, not on pressed or hold or whatever, right? That would be my first guess, right? Not saying it's right, but that would be the first thing that I would investigate. And it needs to come back. Now, I don't know if we actually managed to change that there. Right. Yeah, it can be overwhelming at times. The amount of options you've actually got, you know. Right, so if we go upper arm again, right now, I'm wondering, well, let's just key it, apply it, save it. Okay. I mean, I suppose I'm being a bit pernickety here, because this was never. I'm kind of nearly liking that. I mean, it's acceptable as a first attempt here, right? I'm going to say. I mean, you can tell she's not holding on to it, but that's because it's not done in the way that Unreal do it, and it's not really plausible any other way. The way they do it in Unreal Engine for, I think it was the Paragon stuff, is they've actually got all the models are part of the thing, right? It's part of the mesh. So when they're animating it, it's easy, right? They don't need, because the the bow is part of the mesh, right? It's a lot simpler for them to do, whereas we're trying to do it that she's got a bow, etc., etc. Yeah, I had a look at something before, and what I did was I looked at. It was an asset that was based on one of the Paragon characters, right? So what I did was I, I downloaded that character, right? Who had all the bow and arrow stuff, right? A bolt of lightning. Yeah, you'll have fun with that if you do it in Niagara. You can actually do like a bolt of lightning and then fix it from one point to another, like forked lightning and stuff like that. I'm wondering if she. It's not that. We can. I tell you what we could do. Just a tiny bit there, right? That might just give us enough to do it. Right, okay, we've done it wrong. Key. What is it? There's free ones every month. Comes out first Tuesday. First Tuesday of the month, you get a free set of 5 free assets. Right, and then there's always the ones that are always free, basically free assets on like the marketplace and stuff like that. So anyway, I mean, I don't think we're going to need much more. Yeah, that's part of the 5 for the month. Um, what you're best doing is every month, right? On the first Tuesday of the month, if you look at the marketplace, there'll be like headline content, and then the next thing down is the free for a month, right? And basically, the best thing you can do is just click it, check out, check out, check out, check out, right? And just add them. Doesn't matter what they are, just add them anyway, right? Because you never know when you're going to maybe need something from it, right? Like you just said, you're making magic sounds, right? Well, there's magic sound effects, right? So yeah, every Tuesday, first Tuesday of the month, just click, 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 get them all, right? This one has been kind of useful for us. We've got a couple of animations out of this, right? So yeah, always check that out, first Tuesday of the month, and just get them no matter what, because you never know what you're going to end up working on. So you're as well getting them, and then at least you'll not be kicking yourself for not getting them. Okay, I'm going to key that, apply it, and save it again, right? Just in case I forgot. Then we're going to stop that for now, and then we're going to take a look again. Now, what I was saying was, right, this is nearly looking good. Okay. Now, if I right, that is our kill cam. Right. Now, I think what I'm going to do here that's it. Not quite yet. We'll shoot him. Or maybe we won't. Yeah, I did it last night. As a little present to myself for getting most of the menu sorted out. So I let myself just try and make an arrow cam. So that's exactly what I did. The problem at the moment is actually it's not a problem. Right, what we'll do is we'll start fixing this, right? Now I have got ideas for the cam, but in the meantime, right, this is it here. Okay. And we've got remove blend camera. Okay. Now we want to see where this is called about, because I did it last night. And we're calling it from somewhere else, right? And that somewhere else is the mutant. So we just want to basically imitate his code into our wildlife to do the same thing. Okay, so if we go into here, actually, you know what? I think it's in the arrow. But the easiest way to find it would be go back to here, find references, and then hit that. We want to find it anywhere. I don't want it in slow motion, right? I want it, well, I probably don't want it slow motion. What I want it is faster, because basically if you're doing it every shot, you're going to get sick of it, right? So you want it to be fast enough to be cool and a little bit of graphical flair, right? But you don't want it to get in the way of the player, right? So you want it to be fast, cool, and done. That's the thing. See, it's got a 3-second delay on it, right? I've got a 3-second delay on this. It should probably be nothing, pretty much. Okay. In fact, right, I'm not going to do that, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out, right? So that it blends straight away, right? Now, what I could do in this case is slow down the return, right? Which might be an idea, because you're obviously facing in the direction where you've just fired, right? Or kinda. So wherever you hit the animal, if it immediately starts blending back to the player, you're going to get the effect of what you just did. So this is going to change the actual the behaviour of the animals, right? Because if you hit them, you want to see that the arrow hits them and then it falls down dead. At the moment, it doesn't do that. The animal wanders about for a minute. But to make this a bit more gamified and a bit more cool, we probably want the animal just to drop down dead. Okay? So, off it goes, right? And you'll notice that it zooms straight back, right? Now, we can stop it doing that so quickly. right? Now, what we could do is we could do that. Right, I'm going to bring it over to here. In fact, I'm going to copy that. Right, I'm going to paste that. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to put this back in. And then what we can do is we could change this to 3 seconds, right? Now I don't know why I've got this in. That's okay. That's fine. That's just giving it time to do its stuff before we blend back. Okay, but now that we've changed that, right, we can actually, we'll be able to see this better, right? Now, I have considered adding a third blend camera above the animal. But if this is good enough, then we might just leave it there. Right? So you can see that we actually hit the animal there, and it was actually doing exactly what we wanted. The problem is that we probably don't want to do this, right? Straight away. We want to probably do something like an ease in, ease out. Right? We kind of don't want it linear. Right? And at this point, we probably could probably change the spring arm on the blend camera of the arrow to give us a bird's eye view of what we just hit. Right? So let's actually try that, shall we? I don't know what I actually just did there. But the thing is, we could do all this let's just try and do something, right? What I'm going to do here is, if we look at our viewport, right, this is our camera position, and our camera is actually attached to this, right? So if we were to lerp between, like, let's say here when we hit, right, and then zoom back a bit and up and basically looking down, right? So I'm just wondering here, if I can do this in some way, right? Which I probably can. Right, this is basically starting and stopping. Yeah, we can delete that. And we can probably delete this as well. Okay. Maybe need that for later. Right? Now, we could do this. Right, let's do this in a funky way. What we could do, right, is we've got our camera position. Right? Now, what we could do is we could duplicate that, right? We can do that. We can move it there. And then we can rotate it. Okay. Now, the best thing we can do here, just to simulate what we're doing, is to actually add a camera to it, right? So now when we're looking at what we're doing here, we can see what the effect is. Right? Now, our camera is going to be 0, 0, 0. Okay. And now we can see exactly what our arrow hit. And what we can do is zoom back a bit. Right? And now we can take these values. I shouldn't have done that. Damn it. Right, this should be 0. Right, it should be 0, 0, 0, right? It's our camera position that should be affecting these. Okay. So if we save that now, we've got camera position 1, right? So I could do this two ways, right? I could do a lerp. In fact, that's what we'll do. We'll just do a lerp on a timeline, right? So we're going to go to our event graph, right? And we're going to say timeline. Okay, we add a timeline. And we're going to add a custom event, right? And we'll call it what it is, which is reposition camera. Okay. Then our timeline is going to be TL camera move. Okay, and we're just going to do a float track, and it's just going to be your standard 0 to 1. Right, so that's going to be 0. that's going to be 1. And we'll tell it to take 3 seconds. Right, 3 seconds. Bring that into scale. We'll get our new track. We'll rename it as alpha. Compile that, bring it back. And basically we're going to move camera pause to camera pause 1. Okay. So we're going to lerp transform from transform damn it. And we could do this either way, from either world position or relative, right? It's not going to make any difference. So we're going to say world transform. Get world transform. And that's A. Now the interesting thing here is we're going to have to save this first, right? So we're going to need a variable, and we'll just call it orig camera transform, right? And that is going to be a transform. So we're going to do that. Because we're going to be changing its transform all the time, this doesn't work right. It's going to go a bit ballistic, so we need to basically do this and save it at the start point. Right now, it doesn't really matter about this variable or anything, because we're just basically going to be doing this as a one-off and then killing the whole thing anyway, right? So we can actually delete that, and we can get camera position 1, right? And camera position 1 is going to go in B. We're going to get our variable in, and that's going to be in 1. This is going to get plugged into our alpha, and because we're using world transforms, right, we need to set the world transform of our camera position, right? World transform, and that's going to be there, and we're going to do that. Okay, and so what we really want to do is delete that. Okay, and then after this, we're actually going to move this down to here, and this is going to happen once we've completed our lerp. Okay, now we could also put a delay on that after we finish, so it would basically back out, stop for a second or two, and then blend back to our other camera, right? But we can muck about with all of them. This is just giving us basically every option of how we want to do this, right? So we're going to say reposition camera, right, and pop that in there. And now in theory when we shoot either the stag kind of weird how these aren't right. That's better. And I missed. I need to do a clean up job on this. Right. I mean, it doesn't actually matter about this. Ah, that's actually interesting. Right, it's staying relative to the arrow, which it makes sense, right? But we don't really want to do that, right? We want to make it that it's, you know, the camera's at the same position, right? Anyway guys, I'm going to call that for this afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed our little adventure on Unreal Engine. If you've enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe. Check out the description for links to the game's Discord, Groenland, and my personal Discord also. My Patreon, where you can support the channel and content, and finally my previous game on Steam, a tower defense game that's on sale at the moment for $1. What better way to support the channel than a cheap dollar, and you get an actual game out of it. So thanks for watching guys. I'll see you tonight, 8 PM. Bye bye for now.